Welcome to Fridays with Tab and Chance. I'm Tabitha Brown. It's my amazing husband here.
Chance, what's up?
Bring the beat in. Fridays with Tab and Chance. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Fridays with Tab and Chance. Do it with me, cause we don't get shirts. I said, do it with me. Friday. I said, do it with me. Friday. We just trying to show love to geese. Shout out to Five Folds Clothes. See that right there, the clothes? You see what that says, man? Read what it
The earth
say.
needs love.
The earth needs love.
We all love.
We are love.
Yeah, we giving it to the people.
We are. They would have felt a little bit more if you had did the dance.
No, I don't believe that they wanted to see that dance.
I don't believe that they want to see that dance.
All right, what we talking about today, baby?
You tell them. Because you want to be all...
We said we would talk about life after death as it pertains to marriage.
And having those uncomfortable conversations before you die.
Mm-hmm. Meaning, not like insurance and things of that nature, but have you had a conversation with your spouse about their life in the living, how you would wish for them to carry on? What we found through some friends is that a lot of us don't like to have that uncomfortable conversation. Or when we have that conversation, we don't take it serious and we joke about it. Mm-hmm. And we don't extend that conversation to our family and friends. So when we see that person, the widow, carrying on with their life, we can sometimes be offended. Mm. Is that right?
Yeah, kind of.
Anything that I missed that we was talking? I know we've already had a discussion about it.
Yeah, I guess to give it context.
Yeah.
We've had friends who've lost a parent. I was one of those people who I lost, when I lost my mom and dad were already divorced and had separate lives. But we've had friends who've lost a parent and their mother and father were still together. And in losing their mom, their fathers quickly moved on in their eyes. And it's very upsetting, right? And trying to understand that everyone grieves differently, but also trying to understand in a partnership what conversations were had.
For me, as a result of what our friends have shared, I thought it was important that we have the conversation. We oftentimes will have the conversation, but it will be, joking, because the idea of losing a partner is scary for most people. So we don't want to talk about it in a serious, nature. And then sometimes we don't want to be honest because we don't want to hear that our partners want to continue their life without us, which is very selfish, if you really think about it. So me and Tab had the conversation, and I shared with her that if I left here, I would not want her to. I mean, of course, you don't go replacing a brother in 2 days. Don't go replacing me.
How old? I think that we should put some
context on it.
Yeah, like if you are.
It really depends on where you are in your life. I don't care if you're 75.
You don't want 2 days.
I don't want 2 days in no situation. You see, this is
why. This why.
This right here is why you got to have a conversation. It's all, you gotta be. I mean, to me, I'm just saying as it pertains to me.
Yeah.
In the long run, I just know that I wouldn't want you to be living out the remainder of your life, especially in your 40s, where you got a lot of life ahead of you. Now, if you don't have any interest in anybody, I don't want you being like, well, Chance told me to go find somebody to be happy with.
Yeah.
If you're not interested in anybody, then that's something different. Or if you're not lonely, I just don't like the idea of us not having a conversation and it being me, you thinking, because you're a spiritual person, you thinking, I married my husband, this was the only man for me, that's that. I'm going to now close the shop and, be the best grandparent or, that kind of thing. Not knocking anybody who made that decision. People who are soulmates and you have a certain kind of connection. But while I'm here in the living, I thought it was important for me to tell my wife that if something unfortunately happened to me, that her happiness is more important to me. I want her to be happy. I want her to live out the life that we built together. I want her to enjoy herself and not be sitting around in depression. Now, I'm not trying to control her emotions and tell her that, you can't be sad, of course. Mm-hmm. We've been together for 25 years. But I've seen people lose people, and I wonder if they've ever had the conversation. And then with our friends, and how they're saying that their parents are responding, and some of the things that they're going through, if they had the conversation and how far that conversation went, it has made me even want to have a conversation with our kids.
Yeah, so that they're comfortable
to say,
and
hey,
understand.
Look, something happened to me. Make sure mom is happy. Don't be too hard on mom. We've been together for 25 years. This is going to be new for her. Be protective of mom, but be realistic that mom is a human and this is a new space for her. And that this is going to be difficult for her to navigate, and people mourn differently. They grieve different. And, you guys are going to have to be protective but patient of her, but don't hold her hostage in her life because you knew dad and that this is what you were comfortable with. Mm-hmm. Because somebody new may come. It's not a replacement of me. It's not that at all. Nobody will ever replace me. Now, on the other side of that, I also told Tab to make sure that she tell old boy, when she do come to the afterlife, she coming with me.
I think it's to what you just said about the kids, though. I think it's important for them to also understand that don't put pressure on mom or dad to move on.
To move on,
like
or to stay.
I don't think that they should, if they don't want to get married again, don't try to tell them they need to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we talked about that too. We both honestly feel like if one of us go, I don't never want to do this again.
I ain't never getting married again.
Like, I'm gonna be single. I don't want to remarry. But I also, in the back of my head, remember my mama saying, don't ever say what you won't do. I'm just saying, and how I feel now, I would never want to marry again. I only want this union. And it is to death do us part, right?
Right.
So the decision is ultimately ours to make, but we don't know what our heart will do when that happens. I think about my grandma. My grandma Etta never remarried. And she had 12 children and lost her husband very young, and she never remarried.
Did she ever date?
Not that I remember. And I remember, feel like, men liked her, because my grandma she was foxy, honey. She's a cute little woman. But I never remember her ever having a boyfriend. I never remember any man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just family, always at the house. But I think it's up to the person, but I think that these conversations are more important for couples to have so that there's not a burden that you carry.
Right.
Of thinking like, they didn't want me to move on or they wanted me to move on or whatever the case may be. But it's really important for the kids.
It really is now that we've seen it from a different side where it's
excuse me.
And also, I think it's our responsibility to know, too, that when you're not the only person that loses someone. So for the parents, right? So for the people who have had that conversation with their spouse, it may be important for you to share that conversation with your kids, and not be selfish in that conversation, because you're not the only one who lost somebody. The kids lost as well. You're not the only person who's hurting, grieving, and you do owe it to them. And there is a respect level in terms of how fast or how you deal, with somebody else. You would think that this goes without being said, but it doesn't. Trust me. We've heard of a couple of situations, and I'm like, wow. But then when we started talking about it, we realized that, you know what, people don't talk about this. This is uncomfortable for people to talk about, but very necessary. In my opinion, a very necessary conversation.
Yeah.
That you can say, hey, look, me and your mom talked about this. This is what we both wanted for one another.
Yeah.
And be able to have a serious conversation, but also be able to lighten the mood, and because death is a part of life.
It is.
It is. Death is a part of life. It's
absolutely
going to happen to all of us. And we don't like to accept that until death presents itself. And in my 40s, I'm just now getting to the point where I can talk about it openly and realize how necessary the conversation is, for kids, for adults, for everybody, and where those spaces are of uncomfortability, and where it stops growth in marriages and growth and creates issues that can spiral past, your generations, where it's like, I'm done talking to my mom, I'm done talking to my dad. You see, he did X, Y, and Z when my mom died, because some of us think that ain't for you to know. That was between me and your mom. That was between me and your dad. And that's just simply not true. That's a selfish way of thinking, and to me, it can be cancerous to the generation, to the family, yeah.
I think the other part of that is when it comes to the grieving that a lot of people forget about, which is a very important piece, is that when a parent dies, right? So you have your mom and your daddy. Your dad lost his wife, but your children lost a mother. Your dad found a wife. You don't find a mother, right? You don't find a father. You can go find a new wife. You can go find a new husband. But children lose a parent that gave them life. And so there's a different form of grieving. But on the other side of that, where children have to give grace to the parent, is that most times, especially at adult children, right? We are normally either in a relationship or we got friends and we're not at home with our parents. And so we're grieving. Like for me, I'm grieving with my husband. My friends are grieving with their partners or their wives or husbands. But your parent is grieving alone at home. So there's different levels of grieving that we all have to give grace to and understanding. But there's also a difference in the loss. It's not the same. And it's also a reason why some people move on quicker. But it's even more of a reason, like you said, why the conversation is so important. That we have these conversations, that we talk about, what our wish is. My wish is to live to a very old age with my husband. And I would love for us to go together. Right? In my later 90s, okay? Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
Look, with a sound mind
I do want to put this out, though.
and body.
I'm going to put this out. So
Here you come. Here come the joke. What you gonna put out there, babe?
just make sure that there's a picture of me in every doorway and a statue in the middle of the house. So he can see me every day.
Now, but I just said, I want us to go together in our late nights.
I'm just saying if something happened to me though, and you call Jody through here.
Well,
make
first
sure
of all,
you make sure Jody see my picture.
First of all, I don't want no statue of you, dead or alive, in the house. I don't want no statue just
No, it's
sitting
gonna
in
be
the
a
house.
statue.
Ain't gonna
We
be
gonna
no
get
statue.
it. Yeah, we gonna get it. I'm gonna tell my kids.
Statute of
when I leave,
limitations. Ain't gonna be no
I'm
statue.
gonna tell my kids, Mommy can move on. We'll put that statue in there, in the bedroom.
For me to wake up and be scared.
You ain't gonna be scared. You're gonna feel protected. You said I always made you feel safe.
Yeah, but not a statue. The statue can't
No,
be
it's gonna be safe.
No, I put, you know where you want to be cremated? And I put you a nice, cute little urn and sit it on the fireplace mantle.
No,
And I put a picture of you on the front of the urn.
I'm gonna get a statue with a whole.
You know what? I got it.
I'm gonna tell my kids.
You want to be put in the ground. For your grave, instead of a tombstone, we're gonna put a statue of you. How you want to pose?
I want it on the. We're here. In the
How you want to pose in your
You
statue?
know how they got. You know how they got the statues like outside the Staples Center.
Oh, in basketball.
The crypto, whatever now.
Yeah.
You know how they got
Magic Johnson
and them out there, and they got Shaq up there.
And how you want to be?
Like that. That's how I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be standing out in the front yard like that.
At whose front yard? Oh, you mean in the graveyard?
No, we're gonna be like I'm gonna be in the property right here. It's a statue. When you pull up, you're gonna see me. I'm gonna be standing out there like that.
Well, I'm probably not gonna be living here then.
No, you're gonna move it everywhere you go.
Well, so y'all make sure y'all have these conversations at home. So we're gonna probably cut all of that.
No.
Because I don't want no evidence that Chance said that. So if something happens, because we ain't gonna have a statue. I don't even want to hear nobody saying that. You know, Chance said he wanted that statue.
Chance said.
No. Would you gonna have a statue beside the tree? Because I'm gonna be a tree. Y'all know I want to be a tree when I die. I wanted to be cremated, but now they have this thing where you could be put in a pod.
Mark that right there, because we're gonna edit that out because I don't want nobody to hold me accountable for that either.
And then you can get buried into the ground, and then you grow into a tree. You live forever that way. Mm-hmm. Isn't that amazing? Mm-hmm. I can't stand it. Anywho, but on all serious notes, y'all have these conversations. Talk about grieving. Talk about your wishes with your family. If, you know, especially, not necessarily if somebody is sick, but if someone is sick and we know that it can be, you know, death can be near. Have those conversations with your husband, your wife, your loved ones, you know, and tell them, you know, my wish is for you to carry on with your life. I don't want you, you know, trying to save yourself for me, you know, or feel like you're disrespecting me. Because I think that's a lot of times some husbands or wives feel like they're disrespecting their husband or their wife by moving on. And it's to death do us part. So if they feel the need to move on, then that means it's time, right? Mm-hmm. If they feel the need to move on with their life but not in a relationship, that's all right as well. And children, give your parents grace, but also understanding. And for parents, remember your child lost a parent, although you lost a partner. You know, there's different energy with that. But have a conversation so that we can be honest with each other and everybody can move forward. It's already hard enough at grieving, but it gets even tougher when you feel like someone is wronging the dead, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah. That's
all right. That's that. That was a good one.
And with that being said, because we didn't talk about this, if I go first, ain't nobody gonna be in my house. All right. Y'all going about y'all business? No, I'm just playing. Y'all can be in there. I'm gonna be here too. Because you know, you say I'm a very spiritual person, honey. Ooh.
Child.
Ooh. Ooh. Let her lay on my side of the bed. Ooh. Ooh, very good. Get out that bed. That ain't your business. I'm coming for my husband, okay? That's for anybody watching. If I happen to go anytime soon, don't be trying to come for my husband, because I'm coming to get you. Bring the beat in. All right, that's it. We love y'all. Go on about y'all business. Had a most amazing day. But even if you can't have a good one, don't you dare go mess up nobody else's hair. We'll see y'all next time. Love y'all. Bye. Oh, the link, we're going to put it in the description of this video. All right? Very good.